in authority, one thing is to ask the Lord, Lord, are there obstacles in me? Is there any unbelief in me? Are there things that I put my trust in? And this becomes a block to the true authority that you give me. It's an easy conversation, and Holy Spirit is here to help you walk through that. Our relationship, all about God, who he is, who we are with him, and how he wants us to live, understanding his ways. A few years ago, the Lord told me that generals don't get their stripes, they don't get their medals until after the battle. And yet most of us really want to have all the accolades and be acknowledged as generals, but we don't want to go through the battles. But guess what? That is where you gain your authority, is through the battles. And when we start looking at the battles that way, instead of, why is this happening to me? I can't do this. This is so hard.
Because you prayed to be a general. You want to be a general.
Yeah. And if you want to be raised up, then you're going to have to learn to be a general. And the generals go through the battle, listening to the Holy Spirit, and then they get the authority. Then they get the stripes. Then they get the medals. That's how they get more authority. The increase in authority comes from their obedience and their stewardship in the smaller realm. And then the realm gets bigger and bigger, and the battles get bigger usually too. This is what it means to be a soldier of Christ. We don't like to talk about being a soldier in the army of God. But Salvation Army, when they were birthed, they understood that we are soldiers. And in the increase in authority, it's the glory to glory, strength to strength. That's what we're in. So we don't have to shrink back, but we step forward. Redemption actually restores our relationship with God, and it secures the victory that we've already been given by Jesus, because he paid the price for it on the cross. He overcame all things. And he said, I overcame all things, and I give you that authority to overcome all things. It won't always look like what you think it will look like. That's wisdom right there. It doesn't always look like what we want it to look like. But the overcoming is by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our mouths, the word of our testimony, the testimony of our lives. And so John 10:10 says, as you know, that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus came that we may live life to the abundant. Abundant. What does it mean to be abundant? It means to walk in the truth of who you are, who you're called to be, the authority that God has given you. So the question is, do you face your battles by running away? If I just run away, I don't have to face it. It's not real. Do you face your battles by hiding? Or do you face your battles by fighting? In authority, I will tell you this, it is not yelling at the devil. It is not. Jesus, in the greatest authority he ever seen, he stood silent. He was beaten and crushed. He was nailed. He was spat on. He was bloodied and bruised. He was crucified. That was the ultimate realm of authority. Had he not done that, there would have been no resurrection. So we talked about our own personal death, but authority is not naming it and claiming it. God says this, so yeah, it is agreeing with God, yes, but it's not naming and claiming things that God hasn't spoken. It's not that. It's not commanding God to do things. God, I just tell you right now to do this. Who would talk to anybody like that? Parents do to children, but we honor God. We say, God, I want to see what you're doing. That's what Jesus did. He never commanded his Father to do anything. He watched his Father. He listened to his Father. He saw and heard his father, and then he joined what the father was doing. That's what true sons and daughters do. We join in, fully submitted, fully obedient in what God is already doing. So intimacy with the Father lays the foundation for authority, because God's power is wrapped in love, always wrapped in love. And we have got this mindset that authority is telling it like it is. I'm just going to tell it like it is. And that's what a prophet does. And that's not truth.